Well, good afternoon. This is Coach Rahti of Creative Calling Coaching here for another COVID coping exercise. Exercise, yes, I meant episode, but exercise will do. As you know, I like to use elements of the Hebrew alphabet and the tree of life via a deck of Kabbalah cards as sort of a kickoff to free associate to. And I always consider whatever card I pull to be most auspicious. And if you are watching this at any time, whether live or not, it is most auspicious for you. So let's take a look and see what we got today. So today's card is Malkut, which is the bottom or final sephirah of the tree of life. And, it's interesting. Some people think of it as the bottom. I see it more as a base. Malkut means kingdom. And it is specifically referencing nature, the kingdom of nature. To me, it's all about grounding. I mean, see how it holds everything else up. It is also about receptivity, and it takes a centeredness, I believe, to be truly receptive. It's a receptacle of all the energies of the tree of life. Like I said, they all feed into Malkut and are grounding. Malkut grounds them in stability. It's also an interesting thought that being final, it is also the initiating sephirah. Everything is perpetual and repeating. So the kingdom of nature is our home, the material world. And this is the only sephirah where form is physical. So Malkut is the sphere where actual elements are based: fire, water, air, earth. They intermingle and produce stability, which we know as matter. In that, Malkut is self-contained. So I think about how important groundedness and stability are to us right now. I was listening to The Daily, New York Times The Daily today, and it was all about Portland and the invasion of the federal government, as it were, the military type actions that have taken place there. And it is a time, I think, of great outrage and confusion, which is a really convenient tool for those of malintent, like he who shall not be named, to sow chaos and fear. And that's really what he trucks in, the incumbent, chaos and fear. And so Malkut is probably a more important element than anything else to stay connected to, because there's a lot of Sturm and Drang we could be blown around by right now on social media. The best thing I think we can do is center ourselves, spend some time quieting, as a verb, quieting ourselves, so that we can listen and discern the truth. What makes sense? And then proceed accordingly. This is true in every area of life. How centered are you, for instance, in relation to your career if you're an entrepreneur or an artist? It's a challenge right now, especially if you're a performing artist, if you've been making a living in the theater. And that's not happening right now. Talk about needing to pivot. Talk about needing to stay prepared and in shape for when things do open up again. It is very easy, I think, to lose your center when everything that is normal has been snatched away, right? I consider myself very fortunate because what I do has not changed. But I can't imagine how challenging it must be for people who are used to getting up and working out and presenting every day and getting the audience every day to be going through this. If ever there was a time to take up meditation, this is it. If ever there was a time to take up planting and growing plants in your apartment, Malkut, grounding clears the air, this is it. Whatever you can do to ease your mind and stay focused, I think is of utmost importance right now. So I'm curious about where you might be at. Is there an area of your life where you feel as though you are less in control than ever before? Is there an area of your life that you feel needs nourishment and you just have to find a new way to do that? Are you letting life blow you around, or are you taking time to get grounded every day in one way or another? And this is a very personal thing. I think spirituality of any kind is so funny. I had a client yesterday, and when I start working with someone, I have them fill out a life wheel, which is just like a mandala, a round wheel, and there are different sections pertaining to different areas of life, like environment, career, finances, family. One of them is spirituality. And you basically say, on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being the center of the circle and a pretty much an outright shit show, and 10 being the outer edge of the circle and nirvana, where you lie in that particular section of the pie. This gives me an overview of where a client is when we first start our work together. So it's very interesting. This particular client said 0 when I asked him about spirituality. And it's so funny because this person actually struck me as one of the most spiritual people I'd ever met. Just in terms of his resilience and faith and trust in life, which is how I define a healthy spirituality. Turns out he was thinking of organized religion. Well, that's not what I mean. That's why I say spirituality is very personal. However it is that you get in touch with that, what's called that still small voice, that sense of centeredness and full solitude, a fullness in solitude. It's not a loneliness. It's almost a sense that you aren't alone in your solitude. It's a sense of connectedness to something beyond. To something that animates all of it. And I do believe there is a cause and effect. And if there's a cause and effect, the more we can do to still the waters and ready ourselves in responsiveness, the more we're helping the situation overall. I mean, I think that's the theory behind a lot of traditions where part of the organized religion is the idea of praying for others, sending energy to others. I think there is great power in a group meditating together at the same time. I don't know if you've ever had that experience of sitting in a room with 50 other people who are meditating just stilling their mind, and how deep that experience can be compared to when you're doing it on your own in a regimented way every day. But it's kind of like ice cream. You got to taste it. I can't describe it. It reinforces this sense of what I identify as spirit. And you can't get there without reconnecting to nature, your nature. Some people, that's exactly how they connect to their spirituality, is in nature. And it could be walking around in the park or going on a hike. It could be just nurturing a plant. I've got a couple plants behind me that, I'm doing better with one than the other, but I feel their presence. Right? So I'm hoping that the idea of groundedness, of Malkut, I'll let you take a look at it one more time, has resonated with you today. Perhaps it's a call back to yourself to get grounded in some way. I'd be very interested in knowing whether that's the case for you. So feel free to either direct message me or write something in the comments. And as always, I will be here at 5 o'clock on Tuesday of next week. Thank you for watching. Take care, everybody.